Hi everyone, so recently I've been trying out the Frenzy Barbarian on the PTR a little bit, and similar to the Leapquake Barbarian, it's looking pretty good next season for the Barbarians here. So this is mostly a solo build. It's not really going to compete in groups with DPS of Rats or GR110 or Firebirds, but if you are a Barbarian player and you want to farm on your own, then you have a few choices this time around. There's Whirlwind, there's Frenzy, and there's Leapquake, and they're all at almost similar power level, and they all get a really nice spike in season 24 from the grandfather two-handed sword weapon that will be the main ethereal weapon to use for the Barbarians. It gives you an insane amount of damage, and it can be used on pretty much any Barb build next season, and you will really feel the impact of your swings with that. So even on Frenzy, where you typically focus on very high attack speed, you can use this weapon and you don't even lose very much in terms of attacks per second, because the weapon itself is rather fast and you still do like 7 attacks per second or something like that. Here's an example of some GR110 speedruns I've done last night, and it was going as smooth as cutting through butter with that grandfather weapon. So I was doing around 3-minute clears, which is almost exactly the same that I've done on the other two builds. And you can basically choose whichever you like most out of those three at a very similar efficiency level when you're solo farming. It's very nice, and even when you go a few tiers higher and you want to maybe push your gems a bit higher and your augments, you can do so quite easily with Frenzy, because it's a very consistent build and very good at elite hunting up to the pushing tier, where you do have to rely on the pylons and actually fight for a very long time in some cases. But I was actually doing a 125 push here in 9.5 minutes or something, and only later I realized that I actually had the wrong breakpoint and was missing like 12% DPS or so I could have done it even faster. This was with 1400 something paragons, so nothing really high end, just a decent weapon, some okay gear. You have 2 Augurs pieces which are crafted, so that is easy to get, and nothing really crazy in general. Overall, I really like the Frenzy Barbarian. It's definitely a very fun build on the Barb, and I just would highly recommend you to try it out in case you haven't yet. And maybe you don't really want to go Whirlwind all the way, then this would be definitely a build for you. Especially for the higher tiers, this works better for farming than the other two builds, I'd say, because of the stricken stacking that you have on the higher tiers, where you can just lock onto a yellow elite or some blue, and after a few seconds your damage will increase dramatically because of his super high attack speed and your single target ability. Aside from changing the weapons, the build is not really much different. We already have a guide for this. I actually made a guide for this way back as well when it came out in season 20, and the build is roughly the same anyway. So you need the Oathkeeper and you need the Bastions Revered. One of those two powers need to be on your grandfather weapon, and this will be the way to go. The basic playstyle is just holding down Frenzy on the elites, and then you try to charge around, you try to charge through enemies to reset the cooldown from Merciless Assault, and keep up your Wrath of the Berserker as much as possible, so you want to stack some cooldown, and otherwise you shout for your offensive and defensive buffs. And that's it, fairly straightforward. So just a quick highlight I want to show you of a Frenzy Barb. In season 23 I've also cleared a 128 I believe of this, which was kind of okay rank. It can definitely go higher, and next season the high-end push potential of this is definitely beyond GR140, even up to 145 or so we'll probably see on the Frenzy Barb. I believe on the live servers at extremely high Paragon it's actually 146, so we might see something similar to this next season as well with the high Paragon dudes and an ethereal weapon. So just some highlights of the Frenzy Barb that I wanted to share, because it's pretty cool and a very good option for farming next season if you want to go with that build. I've been playing this myself a couple seasons now, so I have some experience with this. It does require a little bit more effort and a little bit more timing than something like Whirlwind, but it's nothing really out of the ordinary, and the overall playstyle very simple. Even to other top farming builds this compares pretty well, not just on a Barb but also in general. For example, on the GR110 I've been doing the same times in GR115, so just 5 tiers beyond this. And the GR110 is going to be one of the probably top 3 solo farming builds next season, so it is quite close to something like that at the top. That's all I have to share for now. I might make an updated Frenzy guide at some point before the season, but in general the build has not really changed very much anyway. So hope you enjoyed this little video, and I'll see you guys next time.